whiteboard link and your Google form. Just scroll down for your Google form in the stream. Same link as last time. You just fill out the next day. This question. What else can you preload? Oh, we're going to do a Kahoot after we do a quick review with whiteboards to kind of see what we know about chapter 2. There's Bella on the whiteboard. Good morning. Good morning, Devin. We're getting on the whiteboards to do a review, and then we're going to do a Kahoot to see what we know. And hi, Bella. And make sure you do your Google form. I did not repost the Google form because the link's always the same. Just scroll down. There's Maddie on the whiteboard. So if you didn't get the memo, today is a spirit day for sports. So my background is Gill Coliseum. I'm actually right in the picture right there for alumni weekend. And I'm gonna wear you get a Letterman's jacket in your second year. It's very warm though, it's made of wool. So I'm gonna wear it for a little bit and show my spirit and then take it off. We're gonna do a couple little water demonstrations and then we'll get back to our biodiversity talk. So yeah, if you have your, you'll need a clear cup and some water, and probably if you're not by a sink, you can be by a sink, it's better. If you're not by a sink, then some sort of tub, so you don't make big giant messes. And then if you want to do, there's 2 of them we're going to do. One of them just needs a clear cup. It's on the weekly agenda what we need, but the other one, you just need a clear cup of water, and then another one you need like a piece of paper or cardboard. And for the other one, you need salt, food dye. What else? Oh, cooking oil, some sort of oil, mineral oil will work. Like baby oil will work. Any sort of oil. Well, please don't use motor oil. It can be plastic or glass, just something clear so you can see what's going on. Welcome. As you guys come in, just make sure you've done that Google form, scroll down in your stream, open up and make sure you're on a whiteboard. We're going to do a quick review of chapter 2 learning targets, and then I'm going to do a quick Kahoot just to see how everyone's doing and have a spreadsheet record of it.
Can I grind real quick?
Yeah. I lost my. All right, so far I see Addie, Connor, Devin, Grace, Maddie, and Bella on their whiteboards. Thank you very much. Those of you that are on your whiteboard, the first thing I'm gonna have you do, just to see if you remember our last lesson, is see if you can name those 6 properties of water. So the last thing we talked about were properties of water. So while we get everybody out of the waiting room, and if you could see how many of those you can remember without looking. If you can't remember them, then look them up and write them on your whiteboard, but see how many you can do without looking first. Welcome. If you were just coming in, just a reminder to go to your attendance on that Google form, and it's just in your stream. Just scroll down and get on the whiteboards. We're listing the 6 properties of water, seeing if you can list 5 of 6 of those as our success criteria, if you can list those, because we're going to try to use those words to explain a couple of water activities today. Welcome, Periel. We are getting on our whiteboards, making sure we've gone to the Google form and done our attendance. Everything is posted on the stream for you. And if you plan to play along with water, instead of just watching the demo, I'll be showing you guys a demo that you can do at the same time. So you would just need a clear glass or plastic cup, access to water, and some sort of hard, like thicker paper. It might work with just thin paper, but I think thicker paper works better. And then if you're going to do the other demo that we're doing, you'll need salt, some sort of cooking oil or baby oil, and food dye. Did I say salt? Anyways, these are all listed on your weekly agenda too. Good, and I see several of you writing your properties of water. Good, Devin. I see Connor. I see Grace, Maddie, Kendall, Matthew, Bella, and Sophia. Those look good. Good, and I like that Kendall had heat capacity because that's a really important one, and I don't think we had it added to our notes, but we should because it's part of what makes water such a good moderator of our climate. Good, I see Rajiv, I see Hope now. So remember that if you're writing, I don't see it until you press enter. So give people a couple more minutes here to get in and get their whiteboards up and show me their 6, try to see if you can come up with 5 of those 6 properties of water. And if you can't, just look it up in your notes and refresh your brain. If you already have actually handwritten notes in your notes notebook or digital notebook, then just rewrite it on the whiteboard for practice. If you don't have it at all, you should. So add it. And our leadership is trying to do some spirit days. So today was sports day. That's why I have my virtual background in Gill Coliseum. And I am right there in the middle. It's about 20 pounds heavier though. So, and this is my Letterman's jacket from Oregon State in your second. You get a different thing each year. This is your second year. So it's rather warm though. So we'll see. I'm getting hot. It's wool. Yes, if you grab them now, if you've already written your stuff on the whiteboard and you want to play along, which is always more fun, you would all be doing this right in the classroom at once, be running around and looking with you at these demos. So if you have them, definitely do this. It's a lot more fun to do it yourself. I'm going to show you exactly what to do with everything. So the first one, you'll just need a cup, access to some water, preferably be by a sink, and so you don't make a big mess, and a piece of harder paper like, cardboard or stiffer, thicker stock paper. You have any. You can try it with regular paper. It's the one that I did in my last workshop that I wasn't very good at because you have to be pretty steady to do it. If you don't have some of these, you're still welcome to try them over the weekend and try to get some of the bonus extra credit I'll talk about of you doing it on a flip grid and explaining it to me. So today we're going to watch it on a video how to do them. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get started though. So I see some of you have your characteristics, which are on your chapter 2. So I'm going to switch my screen here for a second and remind you of our targets. That last week we did target 1 here. This week we're doing target 2. Why is water important? And just keep making sure that you refresh your brain on all these vocab terms and are taking notes. Kind of, it helps your brain if you're taking notes before I go over it. So being just one day ahead, so it's every day you're hearing similar things. And so I was looking for these: cohesion, adhesion, surface tension, capillary action, boiling and freezing, and universal solvent. And I really do like the idea of high heat capacity. It's a really important concept as well. So just a reminder that we're talking about this attraction between this positive end and this negative end of water because it's polar. The electrons spend more time on this red end compared to this white end, which is representing the atoms. So we have oxygen here, which is much bigger. It has more protons. And they're attracted to each other. So this hydrogen bond is this attraction between the two ends that have opposite charge. And so these are moving around and rearranging themselves and constantly in motion if it's in a liquid form. This is just demonstrating to you surface tension. And this is just showing you what happens as we go from a liquid to a solid state and why it becomes less dense instead of more dense. Like most solids will actually have the molecules getting closer. And instead with water, it becomes this clathrate, this kind of crystalline structure forms, which gives it a less density. All right, we're not going to do acids and bases yet. We are going to stick with these properties of water real quick. So I want to go back to your stream page. And you're going to see that there's a See, Think, and Wonder, and another See, Think, and Wonder. So we are going to open these. I want to do I'm going to do the one that I just learned, upside down water. Maybe you guys have all done these before, but it was new to me. And it got out a couple different. So if you open those up, you're going to put your name where it says student name. So you're going to kind of claim a row here. And I'll share it too, just if some of you aren't able to click. You guys have permission on this to be editing it. So you should be able to put your name there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing a really short clip or demo. Oops. It just pasted someone's email. Sorry, I got to fix this that I was sending to somebody. That's weird. Okay. Good. I see Addison Johnson. And as we watch it, you're just going to make observations in your little box next to your name where it says record everything you see and notice, and then record how you think this is happening. So what I'm looking for in that column is, can you kind of take some of our vocab about our properties of water and explain it? And you don't have to be a right or wrong. It's just, what are you thinking about as you're doing it? And then wonder, what questions are you having? Okay. So I see Matt, Addie, I see Grace, Sammy, Bella, Kendall, Riley, Haley, Aslan, Conrad, good, Connor, Devin. And what I did with these flip grids, well, not flip grids, what I did with this chart was I put the video I'm going to show you hyperlinked here. And what we're doing right now is required because you're in class, and I'll put points in for it. The extra credit is the flip grid where you go perform it yourself and videotape yourself and explain it. So you can look up later if you're not understanding what you're seeing, because I'm going to stop it before it starts going through all the explanations of it, because these are all over the internet. But if you're struggling with figuring out what's happening before you do your flip grid, you can kind of look up some of that. This upside down water one was an interesting one to me. All right, and Addison's helping Sophie, good. Is everyone ready with a clear cup, water, and some sort of piece of paper to try the first one? This is the one that's messier than others if you don't do it right. So you want to be over a sink or a tub or a bathtub, something. This is the one I had trouble with. The other ones I've done for years. But I always think it's fun to try new things, even if it's a total failure. It's fun to try it yourself. All right, if I don't see, is everybody good and ready? Really wish I could get you guys to start doing like a thumbs up or something that tells me that you're ready. We're back to one-way communication, which is the worst way to communicate. Sophie, are we good? I'm just going to go with the people that have the video on. Sophie, are we good to start? Are you ready? She's frozen in space, so now maybe not. Okay, good. There she's back. All right, let's do it then. Oh, it's starting where I left off, so I got to go back. I'm going to turn it up. Make sure you guys can see it.
Water. Then we're going to turn it upside down, and the water isn't going to come out. It doesn't seem possible, and you can do it at home.
Stop.
Hey everyone, it's Danielle from Cool Science Experiments headquarters. For the experiment for today, we're going to fill this glass with water. Then we're going to turn it upside down, and the water isn't going to come out. It doesn't seem possible, and we may make a bit of a mess. But we're going to have
Yes, you'll make a mess if you don't do it right, but that's okay.
Are you ready? Let's get started.
Wow.
Like I mentioned, for this experiment, we're going to fill this glass with water. We're going to turn it upside down, and none is going to come out. The items that you're going to need for the experiment are an empty glass, some water. You're also going to need a piece of sturdy paper. We're using a section of poster board. The paper must cover the entire mouth of the glass. You also will likely want a container just in case there's any accidents. To begin the experiment, you're going to take your empty glass and you're going to fill it all the way to the top with water. It is very important that you get the water to the complete top or the rim of the glass. So let's take a closer look just to make sure the water is to the very top. Now that the glass is completely full with water, it's time to move to the next step. We're going to take our poster board and we're going to place it on top of the glass. Now I'm going to slowly pick up the glass and have my daughter put the container under.
This is where I was too shaky to do it right.
Now I'm going to place my hand just gently on the paper and turn it over and then remove my hand and let's see what happens.
So the lady at my workshop was able to do this as well.
The experiment appears to defy gravity.
All right, and I'm going to stop it there because then she goes through explaining it, and I want you guys to record your own thoughts first, okay? So go ahead and fill out that kind of observation, thinking, and wondering, and then we're going to look at one more demo, okay? So we usually do about 6 different little properties of water that we so yeah, that was my problem too. I did get water everywhere, but I did it over the sink. So take a couple minutes to observe, think, and wonder, and then we're going to look at the second experiment. The lady at the workshop, she actually didn't fill it to the top. So I'm curious also about, my wonder is, why was she so adamant that it had to go to the very top? But when I was watching this at the workshop, it was not filled to the top and it still worked. Right, I'm going to look at the see, think, and wonder chart so I can see what you guys are doing. That out of the way. Oh, that wasn't good. Where do those charts go? There they are. Okay, so I see some of you typing. Oh, I did something bad. What did I just do? chart just got all funny. There we go. So I see a lot of, everybody has some stuff in the C, and some of you are getting into the think, and then the wonder. So questions. My question was, why did one lady need to fill it all the way to the very brim and the other one only filled it halfway? What difference would that make? Would it still work? That's my wonder. Good. I see some of you using your vocab. Okay, we're going to do about another minute, and then we're going to look at the other See, Think, and Wonder, because you guys can always come back in here and add to it and modify it. But if you do, like, look it up, then change your text color, because I kind of want to see what you were thinking and originally before you looked up the answers, right? Because answers exist everywhere. Good. Patrick's here. Welcome, Patrick. We were on whiteboards and did our properties of water, and now we're watching some demos. And on your stream page is something called See, Think, and Wonder. We're on the first one that says upside down water at the top. We just watched the demo. We're about to do the second demo. Some of you are still wondering. Remember, I think you guys, don't you have a thing that allows you, it does down here. Can you guys do this kind of thing where it says go faster, go slower? Do you have that if you click on participants? You guys have that as a choice when you click on the little caret that's next to who's in this meeting for participants? I don't know if you guys, because I have it, and it's a good way for you to say, okay, we're ready. Okay, I see Joseph. There we go, and Grace. So you guys do have it. Good. And again, and Matt. Excellent. Okay, I like that. I can see you guys doing that pretty easily. There's Daniel. All right, you guys, for the next one, if you want to do it at the same time, the next one's going to take the salt, the food dye, the water, and the cooking oil, and a cup again. So all of those things to perform it. And this is one done, you know, with even my science camp kids that are 2nd through 6th graders. But what I like is for you guys to be able to explain it at the college molecular level. So can you tell me what's happening at that kind of atom, that chemistry level in this next demo? So on your stream page, there is a second See, Think, and Wonder that you're going to open. And at the top, it'll say lava lights. And you'll see when you're kind of hovered over it, it'll show you some vegetable oil, some salt, some food dye, and some water. And then your cup again. All right, I'm going to resume my share screen here. All right. So I see Matt and Addison and Maddie and Bella and Grace and Kendall, Cookie, Anna, Connor. Everybody can get on there. And then as soon as I see y'all, we will Make a lava light. It's a great one if you babysit kids. This provides a lot of ways to mess around with it and experiment. One thing you don't want to do is shake it, because then it takes a while for everything to settle back out into layers. So if you're having internet problems, I'm sorry. That's always frustrating. You know what you can do though? Well, if you have a phone or anything, you can Google any of these on YouTube. There's lots of different ones. I'm picking the ones that look most closely resemble the way I've done them. Yeah, you can, this is going to be available for you guys to add to, because I do want you to go and explore and see if you can figure out what actually happens. And I usually have you sketch it and diagram it, but mainly for this year, we're just going to put it in these charts. So is everyone ready to see the next demo? And everybody ready with their supplies if they want to try it? I see Anna said yes. Anybody else? I said Grace said go faster. Connor, okay, good. All right, let's do this then. All right, so one of the things I do a lot differently than this is I carefully have you guys pour along the side. And I also usually have you add the food dye last just to watch what it does. Because it's kind of interesting to put water in it first, about 2/3 full, and then carefully add your cooking oil down the side, and then add your a drop or two of food dye. One of the things kids do wrong is they put way too much food dye in it and makes it black and you can't see anything. So you don't need very much food dye at all, like a drop. And then kind of watch it and how it acts when it goes through the oil versus the water. This is a little different, but it's the same basic idea. Yes, the water, they put water in first. Here, let me go back because I didn't realize it wasn't sharing my screen. Here. Okay. So that's kind of an important step with kids. I don't know why, but a lot of you guys make it way, way too dark. So either just a single drop or wait until after the water and the oil are in there. So we usually mess around with this. I like using big chunky salt like you use for ice cream making, or the kind people buy around margarita stuff, those bigger, because those are interesting too, to just watch how that changes, how that looks for that observations. So go ahead and fill out that observe, think, and wonder chart. I'm just trying to get back to it. And right here, see, think, and wonder. So if you're doing these for extra credit on a flip grid this weekend, tell me your wonder, like go ahead and try it. Like what does happen if you try a different kind of salt, or what does happen when you add the food dye later, things like that, whatever you are wanting to question. The salt part. So the only thing that you're doing with the salt part is you're just sprinkling it on top and letting and watching what it does. They were dumping a whole bunch of it on top. I usually have you get sprinkled and sprinkled so you don't use an entire container of salt, but it will work either way. And I will replay that, Anna, so you guys can watch the salt part. Oh, oops. Let's go back just a little bit. Right. Uh-oh, Periel got kicked out. Welcome back, Periel. We are seeing, thinking, and wondering about the lava light demo. Good. So some of you are noticing, right, the kind of where the oil went versus the water, and be thinking about all those terms that we've been learning for properties of water. What's going on? What do we know about density? What do we know about cohesion and adhesion? What does this say about the properties of that food dye? Is it lipid soluble, like fat soluble, or is it water soluble? Yeah, the links for what I'm showing you are all at the top of our documents. I love it when you guys help each other. It's great. I was talking about that yesterday to the administrators. Oh, good. So it's still, you could still see it without the food dye. It's good. All right, looks like you guys are getting to the wonder part. I'm just going through this just so that my recording today has kind of what we're doing, not so people can see what you're writing, but just so they can have a reference for what we're doing. Because your writing is for me to look at. All right. Are we supposed to be the same number as the last one? I am confused on that question. All right, before, how are we doing for, let me look at these. Think of wonder pages. There they are. Okay, good. I see some wondering. Good. So back to your stream page for a minute. What I want to do now is going to put that diversity lab on hold for a minute and check your knowledge on a Kahoot game. Okay. So remember that if you like to practice these beforehand, you are welcome to. They will open and you can play them anywhere, anytime. But this one should be specifically on the stuff about water that we've been talking about and that we just saw.
I'll swim up to his castle. Then Flounder will splash around to get his attention. And then
Down
we'll go.
here is your home. Ariel, listen to me.
So 885-2740.
Life under the sea is better than anything they got up there. Seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a mistake. Just look at the world around you.
Okay, I see Malia, Colin, Aslan, Stella, Matt. Good.
What more is you looking for under the sea? Under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. I'll find the shore, they work all day. I'll bring the sun, they slave away. Why did the boating boat and
Super laggy. If you have trouble, just put it in your answers in the chat box so I can. No, put them on your whiteboard. You already have your whiteboard set. If you have problems playing the game. This was my best friend in college's favorite movie when it came out.
one day when the boss get under the sea. Under the sea. Nobody beat us.
All right, let's get started. I have about 22 of you. So 23 of you. If you are not able to do the Kahoot, just write your answers on the whiteboards instead so I can see how everyone's doing. Since I see 31 of you, I should right now have 27 of you. So 4 people on the whiteboards, unless you're still getting in. Remember with Kahoots, even if you add late, it will still put you into the game. My screen is stuck at 8 players. Okay, let me share. So I lost my arrow. Oh, there we go. All right. That's enough of under the sea. So those of you that can't see it, it says, what is the chemical equation for water? Yeah, the Kahoot is on your stream page already. So yeah, you can play it separately too. All right, and so sometimes I'll see you guys on like carbon dioxide, you'll put it as a superscript and it should be as a, it should be subscript. So this 2 tells us we have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. The one on Classroom is the wrong one. Oh, I will add this one then. It's probably the one on general chapter 2 stuff. Yeah, the one on stream is for you just to play with like your friends and stuff. My anatomy kids would practice that way all the time because they could play with each other. Yeah, I won't show you the answers until the end. can't see my, okay, so Kindle, oh, I'm sorry, I should have been reading it to you then. So mainly these are all questions about knowing what water looks like as a molecule and knowing which end is positive and which one's negative. It's not always, it better not always be triangle. I did not notice that pattern, but I will check. So true or false, water can dissolve all of the substances on Earth. True or false, water can dissolve all of the substances on Earth. Yeah, false. So water does not like what substances? What substances does it not dissolve that you just saw in the lava light? So what substances does water not like? Hydrophobic, yes. So water fearing, which are oils, good. Not necessarily density related, but it was, I mean, it is a difference in density between oil and water, but it has to do with that polar versus non-polar, like having a charge or not having a charge, whether or not it will dissolve something. So water molecules are attracted to other water molecules. This property is called this term. Connor, you're right. I'm gonna have to go see why that is. Should not always be that way. The things to choose from are on the screen I'm sharing. Water molecules are attracted to different molecules. This property is called what? So the last one was cohesion. So this one's talking about attraction to different other polar molecules. Ah, see, that broke your rule right there. It was not a triangle. The following image is an example of which property of water. So it looks like a coin resting on the top of the water. It's just like a water strider or anything else. What is that called? Surface tension. So capillary action, it has to be moving up a small tube. So a capillary tube are little small tubes of glass, but so it's talking about a movement up a thin tube. My screen is minutes behind. This is a cool one to go outside and look for. You'll see it if you start realizing it exists on leaves. And it's guttation. You'll see these little blobs of water outside on the edges of the stomata or the holes on the leaves of plants. The following image is an example of which property of water, and this picture is showing you sodium and chlorine or salt crystals going into water and being pulled all apart. The following image is an example of which property of water. It's showing you celery put in different food dyes. We do this with white carnations. It's another one you could do on the flip grid if you wanted. It's fun to take the stem and split it multiple ways and then put it in multiple colors and watch what happens. So you could take like a razor blade or a knife and just cut your stem on a white carnation. Safeway has them, and then put them in multiple glasses of different colored food dye. Water is able to store a lot of energy because of its high what? Sophie did it with roses, yeah. Any kind of white flower works really well. Much more fun than celery. And you guys usually take them home and give them to your parents or someone. Good. Specific height, specific heat capacity. All right, let's see who our winners are this week. Sophie, nice. One. Joseph. Good. Right. Turn that thing off. All right, I know we are running short on time. That's not a big surprise because that happens whether I'm remote or not remote. If you go back to your stream page, what I want to do is talk about the revision I'm going to make to your biodiversity lab. So go to your stream page and we're going to click on classwork. And we're going to go find our biodiversity lab and click on that. And then I want to talk about the two documents we're going to be using next week and what I want you to do before next week. All right, so we have a biodiversity lab. The last time we were here, you guys were choosing a slide and choosing roles for your team. That was all that you had to have done, okay? So I should be able to go on here and see, I can see like Maddie and Aslan and Grace, that part done. Let's see, there's a question there. It says, I lost it. So we don't have to have our final question, just something we'd like to have. I doesn't. Yeah, so you guys just need to discuss it though and kind of decide on which question you want to investigate. The second thing I want you guys to open is the actual lab, which is right next to it. So the lab part 1, you guys already had this Ed puzzle as a homework assignment. But it just talks about the CCAP. You don't have to use the CCAP. You can use iNaturalist. There's a whole bunch of those. Oh, there's a cute hamster. I like it. Very cute. You only need to watch part 1 if you're wanting to use that app. That was part of your Ed puzzle. But you're going to be making 10 observations, right, about species or genus level. So we're not studying the genetic diversity because we don't have the capability to look at the DNA of all the things out there right now, but we can start identifying species, and we're not going to look at ecosystems because that's kind of too big of a project. But you're going to be recording this in your team. So what I'd like you to get done today is just make sure that your group has made a copy and renamed this. So on classwork, this has the option of editing and for it to make a copy for your group. So designate which person is going to type in all the team members into this document today, okay? And then on a different day next week, we will talk about what question your group decides on and then how you will start filling this out, okay? So today, all you have to do is open this document right here, make a copy. And the groups that you had last time, you guys are going to write all your names here, not just on that Google slide, but we want them here on the actual lab. And make sure everybody has the ability to type and contribute to this for next week. Okay, and next week I'm going to be asking you in groups again, what question did you pick? And then go out and start collecting. It is not due this Sunday. The only thing that is due is that you guys have your names on this and on the Google slide. So I should be able to go to either one of these two documents. If you don't have a group, Braden, come and look at the Google slides and see if there's any group that doesn't have 4 people. For example, Connor, Cole, and Finnegan only have 3 people. So Maddie, Aslan, Grace, and Stella, they already have 4 people. Matt, Sammy, They already have 4 people. So just kind of go through these and see if there's a group that doesn't have 4 people and add your name. See, there are some benefits to remote learning. There's no awkward, I don't want you in my group, I want you in my group, because you can just say, no, I'm going to type my name right in here. I'm in your group. So this is one of those things. We'll see how it works, right, with distance learning. All right, I see Joseph, Sophia, Sophie. So 1, 2, 3, they have 3. Kooky and Hope, they have only 2, so you're welcome to join their group. They have now versus 10 years ago, so you're gonna have some Google Earth skills because you gotta go look at some maps and photos and things like that from 10 years ago. Front versus backyard. So this is a huge group, so you guys are gonna have to break into 2 groups and make 2 slides. So, oh, this must be 3rd though, right? Because Carly is in a different class, I think. All right, so I am almost out of time. Any clarifications on classwork? So we have properties of water. The flip grids are optional. So that's going back and trying those demos yourself and videotape yourself doing it. There's the Kahoot. And yes, the Kahoot here is for like all of chapter 2. It's not just the water one, but I'll put the water one on there too. And then properties of water. This is the thing we were doing today in class. So the think, observe, wonder. I'm not using the right words. See, think, and wonder. You can tell I just heard about this. And then 2015 is your FRQ for this week. And so all of these, except the biodiversity lab, are due Sunday. And the only, who can tell me in the chat box what should be done though on this? Make a copy for your lab and your Google slide. What is supposed to be done on these 2 documents? Our names, good. What else? Group members and their roles, good. Good, I got it from Sammy, yeah, and a question. So I want to look at what question you guys are going to explore, and that way I can know if it's reasonable for you to be able to get that done next week and go out. Maybe it'll be really sunny and nice all next week, and since it was rainy this week. Yes, make a new doc, put your names of your team members, tell me what they're doing, and then a good question that your group wants to ask. Do we still have a test next week? I believe so. This chapter only has 2 modules. So we will still take a test next week on probably the Wednesday, just like we did before. Any other questions? I will hang out here if you guys have any questions. Yes, go ahead and click return after you guys finish putting your names on the new document. Yes, I am going to make new breakout rooms next week. I knew I only had 5 minutes, so there was no way to put you all back in groups again. Yes, there will be 3 tries again. And yes, the test is open notes again. Any other questions?
Is this 3 tries just if you have internet problems, or can you take the test 3 times if you want to? You can, yeah, if you have 3 tries, no matter what. The 3 are geared towards if you end up having a problem. But yeah, you can, if you didn't like your score on number 1, then go and do it a couple more times. Any other questions? No? Okay. You guys are headed to second period. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
I hope you guys didn't make a huge mess for your parents, but I hope you tried things. Are we supposed to go with the first or second groups? I'm not sure what that means. First or second groups of what? Patrick, can you explain that question? Oh, I'm gonna